Hey guys, it's me again. I've actually gained my first subscriber since the last video, so thanks to ZCoolest Games for that. Appreciate it, dude. I'll try and do some fast domino videos sometime. I know he's a pianist, but I'll do the guitar accompaniment. I'm going to start off with a couple of videos on basic blues technique. These are just a few things that I've found really helpful to my blues playing when I discovered them, so I thought that would be a pretty good place to start. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is guitar tunings. In blues you'll find quite a few alternate tunings being used, so I'm just going to explain how they work and what the differences are between those that I've come across. So for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, guitar tuning is basically the configuration of notes assigned to each string. And to change or tune the pitch of a string, you turn its tuning peg up or down. The five different tunings that I'm going to talk about are standard and half step, Spanish, Vestapol and Bentonia or cross note. I'm going to start with standard tuning, even though Spanish is far more common in blues music, because most people are already pretty familiar with standard tuning. So it's a good frame of reference before we get on to the others. Standard tuning is what most guitars are usually tuned to and what most people would expect to find when they pick up a guitar. So from top to bottom, the 6th string is E, the 5th is A, 4th is D, 3rd is G, 2nd is B, and the 1st is another E. Now, you may have noticed that I'm using a capo on the 1st fret. Now, this is because each string has been down-tuned 1/2 step, so E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat again. Why? So I started down-tuning like this when I wanted to play a few Lightnin Hopkins songs which had been down-tuned. And then I remembered Hendrix used to do it, and Nirvana did it a few times. And it turns out that actually a lot of the old blues players used to downtune, sometimes more than 1/2 step. So I just downtune 1/2 step for any tuning that I'm in now. As far as Hendrix goes, despite the blues influence, apparently he downtuned to keep within his vocal range. But besides that, it loosens the strings up a bit, so you get a bit more of a bluesy feel, like they're a bit more slack. So this is E flat or 1/2 step tuning, exactly the same as standard tuning, but shifted down 1 semitone. And if you want to tune back up to standard, all you have to do is stick a capo on the 1st fret and you're right back there. The next tuning, and by far the most popular on the Delta blues scene, is Spanish or open G tuning. To get there from standard, tune the 6th string down 1 whole step from E to D, then tune the 5th string down and again a whole step from A to G, leave the 4th string and the 3rd string and the 2nd string as they are, so D, G and B, and then down tune the 1st string again a whole step to D. And open strings play a G chord, hence the name Open G. This is great for playing slide because the down tuning blocks some of the chords and scale patterns in a vertical line, but the open strings also make the kind of combined rhythm and melody lines so often used in blues a lot more straightforward to play. So it's not always played as open G or G flat. More often than not, they played anywhere from the 1st right up to the 8th fret. I can't actually go any higher on this guitar because of the heel. But to be honest, I don't think I've seen any higher frets used than that anyway, so it doesn't matter. Musicians that use Spanish tuning include Charley Patton, Sunhouse, Willie Brown, Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker, Robert Johnson. In fact, pretty much all of the greats used Spanish tuning at some point in their career. From here we come to Vestapol or open D tuning. To get there from Spanish tuning, you want to tune the 5th string back up 1 whole step to A. Tune the 3rd string down 1/2 step to G flat. Tune the 2nd string down a whole step to A. And you leave the 1st, 6th and 4th strings at D. This is probably more common in blues than standard tuning, but still nowhere near as common as Spanish. Players like Charley, Patton and Robert Johnson both used this tuning, but especially Elmore James, who used it extensively throughout his career. Again, it's good for slide playing and syncopated sort of guitar work. Another good thing is any riffs you've learnt in Spanish can usually be reproduced in Vestapol tuning by moving them 1 string up towards the 6th string. This is because Spanish tuning is based on the shape of an open A chord in standard tuning, and Vestapol is based on the shape of an open E chord in standard tuning, which is 1 string up from the A chord. So anybody who's already familiar with the standard tuning scales and positions and chords should have a few light switches going on in your head right now. The last tuning that I've come across far less, even less than standard, is Bentonia or cross note tuning. To get there from Vestapol, simply down tune the 3rd string by 1/2 step from F sharp to F. Playing the open strings now gives us a D minor chord, and this is where the name cross note comes from, because lowering the 3rd note of the scale causes the tuning to cross over from major to minor. This was a tuning heavily favoured by Skip James. He played this way in most, if not all, of his songs. Robert Johnson later recorded a couple of songs in this tuning, as did Booker White and Arthur Crudup. So the 2 previous tunings, Spanish and Vestapol, are both based on major chords, while Bentonia is based on a minor chord, and you can really hear the difference if I play a bit. So there we go, that's it. There are of course hundreds of other tunings possible, and loads of them are being used even today, but these are the 4 or 5 main tunings that I've come across just playing blues music. So memorize them, have fun with them. I'm going to go into more detail with them later on, but for now I'll just leave a list of songs in these tunings in the description. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you in the next one.